That's pretty cool. Yeah, an oiler and a Zerk fitting. Look at that. This can, oh my gosh, it's so easy to use. Since I am a speed feed user, I'll let you know how this goes in comparison. Welcome to the Okie Woodsman channel. This video is sponsored by Wild Badger Power Equipment. This is one of those inexpensive brands that you find on Amazon. Sometimes those are good things and sometimes those are bad things. After looking through their catalog, I was interested in some of the lesser expensive models. This in particular, I think could be a good fit for a small property owner. You have a string trimmer, you have the hedge trimmer, and you have a pole saw attachment. Not only that, but it also includes the TriStar type cutter, and those are really cool. I actually like them quite a bit. It's absolutely amazing what you can get shipped to your door for so inexpensively. When I was looking over this box, I found something really cool that I wanted to show you, and I'm really curious because, as you know, I am a big fan of the Echo type string trimmer head, and this is showing a twist and load type spool on this. I wonder if it's going to be any good. It probably is going to be a pretty good upgrade from what was on that Pro Yama. You guys know that I will shoot you straight. I'll tell you if I think it's junk. I'm very curious to see if this thing's any good. It's always amazing how these things are packaged. All right, let's see how this looks here. Chainsaw attachment. I'm also not suggesting that this is a replacement for a high quality like Echo outdoor power equipment, but I can tell you that this has a market for the right person. Potentially. I can tell you that's really nice and lightweight. The power head is very nice and lightweight. First thing I'm going to check is operation here. So this is a little sticky, the safety. It's not popping right up. But when you depress that, the throttle feels relatively smooth. I like how big the paddle is here. That's nice. Oh, this is a big thing right here. This is something my high dollar professional Echo doesn't have, is a switch that goes back to the run position once you let go of it. That's a nice feature. This is the style of connection that's on the string trimmer. You've got this spring lock and you have a square shaft there. Tell me if this is a real common setup on these types of tools. There's another block off plate in here. And I'm not looking at the instructions. Really simple. I just needed to set the power head on the ground, then you'd want to tighten this up here. This is tightening up on a clamp here, and then this is just to cap off the screw so it's not sharp. I kind of want this to be vertical just because that's how I like things. I picked up these Icon T-handles and I am loving having a good quality set. I've never had a trimmer before with this funny little lever off the side here. I think that's because it's the brush cutter, but share your thoughts with me. I'm curious to see how this handle feels. It feels a little bit cheap, honestly. I think that feels pretty good right there. If you have any experience with this brand, please let myself know and anyone else know in the comment section. I'd love to hear it. So, how does it feel? The handle feels good. The trigger feels good. It's really nice and balanced, and it's pretty light. Awesome. Now, I'm not exactly sure Badger would appreciate this, but I don't run my guards because, well, the pros don't run them, but you should run your guard. I'm going to check and see if there's any grease in the head. That'll be interesting to see. This is a 5mm screw or plug or whatever you want to say. So if you don't know, this is where you would see grease typically. Let's see if that's grease. It feels like a really sticky type of blue type of grease. There's something in there. That's a good sign. Some of the newer equipment from the quality brands is getting rid of this plug here, and so you can't even service them or grease them to make the head last longer. One of the things that intrigues me is this twist setup. All right, here. Okay, this looks a lot like an Echo speed feed type setup, but it is not an exact copy. I'm actually going to unload it, and we're going to load it back up and see what it's like. Honestly, this feels like a pretty nice quality part here. I might not put this string back in there. I might save it for later and use some of my better quality stuff that I use. Okay. Yeah, this is really twisted. Okay, there you go. So let's put this back together and snap it in here. So this looks to be real similar to like how Echo does it. It's showing this arrow and then the arrow here. So you ought to line that up, and then you can see through and insert the string where you want, and then go ahead and twist it in. Let's see how it works. Since I am a speed feed user, I'll let you know how this goes in comparison. A huge advocate of this style. Put a little bit of pressure on it. It's not so loud and it's a little smoother. So I put in the amount that I normally put on my Echo. And we'll see if it feeds. The next thing we'll do is put fuel in here and see if it starts. This plastic cap looks like a really weird quality material. The rest of this looks like what you'd expect, but this just looks strange. Almost like 3D printed, but it's not. I don't know. But anyway, I don't think that's going to be a problem per se. I'm good at spilling. We have a primer bulb buried in here. It's not necessarily a problem. It's just you got to know where it's at. So we're going to go ahead and pump that up. This is first start. All right, so our fuel bulb is full and our fuel lines have fuel in them. We're going to put this on start position. All right, I can tell you right now that this lever feels a little bit cheap. It's functional, but it feels cheap. All right, so we're in start position. And this has, remember, the switch that does not need to go to on. It should just be working. 3. Can't beat that. What do you say about that? That was easy start procedure. I'm gonna go ahead and kill it. And let's try to restart again. I'll just trim a little bit of my pine trees on the hill here, and I'll try to bump it and see if it's feeding. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to use this rock to trim the line down and then bump feed it and see if it works. All right, so we got our short string. Let's feed it again. There we go, we're back out. I'm not sure what there is to not like. Wow. Well, gosh darn, that was easy. That sure started up simple. We'll take a look at these accessories because I am very interested in them. You have a simple process of lining up the arrows. And then I don't know if that's all the way in or not. No, I've got to loosen up that screw probably. Tighten that up on there. Guards for the brush cutter or the hedge trimmer. And then you have a, look at that. This can, oh my gosh, it's so easy to use. You can adjust this. That's pretty neat too. Wow. I've never had anything like this. Look at that. You could even do this. You could stand right here and, I mean, that's really neat. Huh. All right. So that's the hedge trimmer. I've been thinking about selling my little, my Ryobi battery powered pole saw because it's the only thing I have in that battery format. It's not because it doesn't work well. It's just that I'm not going to invest in another battery powered Ryobi tool. Nice oil reservoir up here. I believe this is a 10-inch bar with a place to lubricate the tip. That's nice. There's the chain for it, 3/8 050. So that's probably a low profile 3/8, and I believe that's more than likely 39 drive lengths. Take a look at the chain together. That is a non-safety chain. Semi-chisel, meaning that the cutters have this radiused edge. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I think that's a great chain for a tool like this. It ought to cut well. I did not open up all the accessories, so I'll pull those out. Got the manual. One of these bad boys, awesome. I love this. This is one of my favorite tools. And it's got the extra bits to be able to mount that and convert it over from the string head. This is a nice, easy process. We're not going to do that on this video. I have other videos about that. It's very simple. A shoulder strap, because if you're brush cutting, it is nice to have that. It's got the hook already put onto here. So that's a nice feature too. Nice little scrunch. I like this size. That ought to work on all my chainsaws. And you got some Allen tools as well. It looks like probably the 4mm and then the 5mm for up front and whatever else you need. I bet you the zip ties are just because it's a generic pack. Because I have had to use those on other ones where this was long and needed some cord control. We've got a single bar nut here. Okay, and you adjust the chain from the front side of the saw. That's cool. It's like a little, that's like a little replaceable sprocket. Oh, you even have an oiler adjustment on here. I've never seen that on a saw like this. That's cool. Oh, look at that. A place to grease it. How cool is that? I like that a lot. Huh. Wonder if there's grease in there already. That's pretty cool. Yeah, an oiler and a Zerk fitting to grease. That's a nice little feature there. I've never had a good quality pole saw. I'm assuming that this is good quality, but I've never had a good quality pole saw, so I don't know if that's normal or not. Shows you the rotation of the chain. I'm going to throw the chain onto the bar. We've got the bar and the chain on the tool. Checking to make sure that the rotation is correct. It shows it rotates this way. Your cutters are going to spin this way, which looks to be correct. Put the cover on here. What's nice about this is you have an insert, a metal insert, so you're not tightening against plastic. Check that out. They've inserted this big piece of metal into here, so when you tighten this down, assuming this doesn't come loose from this, you can tighten that up without any fear of damaging that. That's a nice touch as well. That's impressive. Badger, I think you have a nicely designed thing here. There's a couple areas that I don't really like. This cap feels like a nicer quality than the one on the gas. And the throttle feels a little bit, this is sticky. That's all it's to it. But the actual throttle itself is just fine. It's just the safety sticky. And it basically gets, The throttle's just fine. It's just that this safety, you know, with time it might loosen up a bit. We've got some wiggle room there. This type of tensioner is never my favorite, but it makes total sense on a piece of equipment like this. So you've got to come in here, and it's hard because I'm doing it left-handed in front of the camera. Let's not do it that way. There we go. This is how I want to do it. That's a pleasant surprise right here. I think I like this more than on the Ryobi one, to be honest with you. Let's tighten that up. Let me make sure. Got your grease fitting there. In fact, what I'll do is I will go ahead and pump that up right now. I can't believe this is happening here. All right, let's see what happens. I'm assuming it's probably already greased. We're just pumping it full with a little bit more. Huh, all right. I have one concern that might keep me from selling the Ryobi. Push the little spring thing here. We've got the string trimmer off. And, all right, this can only go one way. There it is. There it is. I'm going to share what my concern is. I have right here a pole saw, but it is going to be shorter than my Ryobi. And it's because my Ryobi, here's my Ryobi handle. And check this out. I can't even put it together in my shed, but it's much taller. See that? So that's one major thing that I don't like about this. I don't know if I can get it tall enough for me. Now, this is pretty unwieldy when it's this long. If I were to take this section of tube out, they would be about the same height. But this tool here, it is pretty heavy by the time you have that all the way up there. That is the honest truth. But at the same time, it's nice to have that option. Let's break this apart. Oh, that's heavy. This is very heavy on the end. Let's put a little bit of oil in here and let's see if the oiler works. Probably should be doing this on the ground. That'll work. I don't need to go crazy. I always fill everything up unnecessarily. That's a lot of pole saw cutting, especially for a short pole saw. Put that on the ground. Let's see if it got any oil on that chain. Feels like there might be some in there. I'm going to tighten up that chain again. Run this a little bit more. See if we can get some more lube on there. It needed to warm up. It's got some grease flinging off of that thing now. No problem at all. See if we can capture that. There's bar oil coming off of it. Now there's also bar oil coming out of here as well. As is with the nature of all these things, this is a messy bit. Once you start putting oil like that, chain oil inside of a thing like that, it's going to be leaking here and there. Would have helped if I was actually cutting something, but it's okay. It's flinging all that bar oil around on the backside. So the question you may have is there a stamp of approval? Initial quality seems to be pretty darn good. I think that there's some things that are lacking on it. Like I think the choke lever feels a little bit flimsy. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more material on it, but it operates. It started extremely easily. I love that the string trimmer head has like a speed feed type setup on it. I think it's very easy to use. It's really cool that it's got the hedge trimmers. I'm not going to mess with those. I don't have anything to trim currently with those, but we may give them a shot later on in the future. It's too early to tell if this thing's going to be phenomenal in the long run. My Pro Yama has been very good in the long run. I've got quite a few hours on that. I've got even more hours on my Echoes. They've been flawless. and they are a good tool with a 5-year consumer warranty that you can go to your local dealership with. This Badger does state that they have a 3-year warranty on it. I don't know how that would work out. I can tell you this, in my opinion, when you order a tool on Amazon and it's a company like this, it seems like they're well established. They sell a lot of them, but it's not going to be the same as going to your local dealership, getting your service if you need it, or if you need parts, right? These are generic tools. There's a lot of different companies out there with this style of engine. It's nothing new. It's not Badger coming out with their own engine. They just have their own branding, their colors, and their marketing. And they have their unique lineup of tools available on Amazon. I will put links down below. I think where this tool may fit in is for the homeowner. If you have a yard that is not too large, you have a few trees, you know, you want to raise your canopy up here and there or trim them out of the way so you can walk underneath them, I think it might be great for a homeowner. This is certainly not a professional grade tool, but it doesn't come with a professional grade price. So set your expectations accordingly. I am a huge advocate of professional grade tools. That's what I generally run. But I love the opportunity to run an inexpensive bargain tool like this because not everybody runs stuff like I do and in the frequency that I do. And I'm not even a professional. I'm just a landowner. I put this thing back together, started it up, and I kind of felt like the engine might be doing something a little bit weird. I just want to show you. It could be that when I tilt it around, I mean, it's pretty full of fuel, but it's possible it might be starving that way. But let's just see here. I've got the string trimmer head on there, and let's just go ahead and run it. Well, that thing's a little ripper. This thing has a lot of breaking in to do. Like I said, I think it's a little too early to say for sure it's going to be a great product, but that's why you want to definitely check out reviews, check out other, you know, if there's reviews, long-term reviews available on YouTube or something. But I just wanted to show you my experience with this. I love how easy it is to start. Likely any abnormalities I was seeing was because the engine wasn't warmed up. I think that's probably what it was. Does it have my stamp of approval? It does initially, but be watching in the future for once spring comes up and we actually have some real work to do. I will be putting this tool to the test, and I'll let you know in the future if it's something that I would recommend purchasing. As of right now, I can't say for sure I'd recommend purchasing it because I've just started it, but I will tell you this, it started up nicely. Overall, the tool quality feels good with the exception of that choke lever and the safety on the throttle. It is not, the safety kind of will stay down. Now, what's cool about that doesn't keep you from using it. Okay, so there's nothing really wrong there. The throttle cable feels really nice. This linkage is good. The switch is nice. So this just is a little bit cheap. The plastic on the handle here feels like pretty low grade plastic, but it's got a nice texture on it. This has a rubber mold right here, and this is hard plastic. I think that for a multi-tool, for the money that this thing costs, it certainly might be worth a shot if you're going to primarily use this as a string trimmer and need the other things every so often. You know, little two-stroke engines like this are no big deal. You know, if you think that the Craftsman ones and the cheap tools that you see, MTD and all that, if you think that they're any different, I think you're probably going to be wrong. They're all just inexpensive, mass-produced engines, and I think, again, that I don't think that you can go too wrong with this. That's awesome. What more can you ask for? Thank you for watching the Okie Woodsman channel, and if you want to see more of this tool, make sure you subscribe. Check out my other videos. We've got a lot of cool things going on, other equipment reviews, projects that we're doing, and we'd love to have you. See you on the next one.